Hi, welcome back to a new video on Laurel and Hardy memorabilia and Chaplin collectibles. In this video I'd like to carry on roughly from where I left off from the last video, where I showed quite a few items on Charlie Chaplin, and there's also a few items connected to that on Laurel and Hardy with the Charlie Chaplin collection, so it's quite interesting. But before I do that, I've got this new poster from the new Stan and Ollie movie, which is absolutely brilliant, and this is the second poster I've got from the new Stan and Ollie film with Steve Coogan and John C. Reilly, and I just really love the all the quotes on the poster. Absolute perfection, stunning performance, a dazzling double act. It reaches genuinely sublime heights, intelligent, beautiful, incredibly moving. It just says it all about the film, and really great. But again, if you've not seen the film, then I'd still recommend you go see it, because it's definitely worth a watch. So, just on from that, I have got this, which is now on Charlie Chaplin. This is like a card envelope with the coin in the centre there, with Charlie Chaplin's figure on there. And this is a Millennium Countdown entertainers, and it's all to do with all the different entertainers and film stars and what have you, and do with film and theatre. And a really nice piece with a real coin in the centre, and you've got Queen Elizabeth II's head on that side, and then on the coin you've got Charlie Chaplin 1889-1977, and that's got on there 1995 centenary of the cinema. So really nice piece, and what's more interesting, it's also been signed by Geraldine Chaplin, which is Charlie Chaplin's daughter, and that's a real signature there, so that's a really nice piece to have. And just talking about Geraldine Chaplin, she was the fourth child, sorry, of Charlie Chaplin. There you go, there's a picture there of Geraldine Chaplin on the set of the 1992 film Chaplin, with film star Robert Downey Jr. that played her father. Absolutely brilliant performance. But yeah, so she was the fourth child, Charlie Chaplin, and the first child of his fourth wife, of Una O'Neill. Really nice piece. And then just on from that, I'll go through this, which I have to be very careful with. This is an old scrapbook that I came across, and this was belonged, so I was told, this belonged to a young boy. So he was probably maybe 11 years old, 12 years old at the time. This is a really old scrapbook, but what drew my interest even more was that there was old original newspaper cuttings in here on Charlie Chaplin, but he's also stuck in pictures from World War I, football, and boxing stars and entertainment stars of the theatre of the times. So this is actually, he's dated this at 1916, so this is like Chaplin's rise to fame from when he started out in 1914 at the Keystone Studios. But really nice original old clippings, and he's written notes in as well. But I also read at the beginning that it was belonged to Stan E. Newton. For a minute I thought it was going to be Stan Laurel, but I thought that couldn't be right. But it was Stan E. Newton that owned this scrapbook. And what was also interesting on this page you've got all entertainers of the theatre of the late 1800s, early 1900s. But I saw this one here and I thought, oh, that Stan Laurel dressed up in drag, but of course it isn't. This is actually Dan Leno, which was a leading English musical comedian during the late Victorian era, from like 1888 to 1904 to his death. But this guy, Dan Leno, his real name is George Wilde Galvin, I think that's how it's pronounced. But he was a huge inspiration to Stan Laurel when he was young. And is this possible where he got the famous smile from, that he learned from this stage comedian? It does make you wonder, because it is very, very similar in style. And also he was an inspiration to Charlie Chaplin as well. But also this character, I was trying to find out, well, who was he playing? And he played his sister Anne in Bluebeard, so it was obviously a stage character that he played during that time of the late 1800s, early 1900s. And then if I can move this on just a little bit, we can find the pages with Charlie Chaplin. Yeah, here we go. So you got like cuttings of Charlie Chaplin here, and just the one at the top there. And he's just put on that celebrated scene from Charlie's Night Out. And then these 2 pages here he's got on Charlie Chaplin, you can just see there. And at the top there he's done like a small biography on the top one. You can see it's in child's handwriting, but it's really interesting what he's put. That's interesting to know what was happening at the time. But he's put in here, born in Woolworth, that would be in London. He's put 1885, which is quite interesting because he's got the date wrong, which is 1889 he was born. It does mention that he was with the Fred Karno troupe. Of course he wouldn't mention Stan Laurel, because Stan Laurel wasn't really, that name wasn't recognised then, so he wasn't as famous quickly as Charlie Chaplin was. But he does mention his first outing with the Keystone Studios, and then the Estony Film Studios and the Mutual Film Studios, and where he was earning £300 per week, which is really interesting information he's put there to know at the times that Charlie Chaplin was the biggest film star in the world, and if not, he's possibly the first biggest film star in the world during that time, and then that was the last picture that he stuck in there with Charlie's elopement. So so there it is. So I have to be very careful to handle this because it's really, really old, and really sought after anything connected to Charlie Chaplin, or even to find anything on Laurel and Hardy from a really old scrapbook would be really amazing to have as well. But yeah, 1916, so that's like well over 100 years old. And then from that I had the Keystone Chaplin comedies, which I've been watching all the very first of Charlie Chaplin's films, and how his career developed from 1914 at the Keystone Studios with filmmaker, producer Max Sennett. It's just interested in the book that it comes with, that it says in here about his creation as the Tramp. I had no idea what makeup to put on. I had not like my get-up as the press reporter in Making a Living, which was his very first film he did for the studio, which he wore a top hat, so he wasn't quite the Tramp character that was created. However, on the way to wardrobe, I thought I'd dress in baggy pants, big shoes, a cane, a derby hat. I wanted everything to be contradiction. The pants baggy, the coat tight, the hat small, and the shoes large. I was undecided whether to look old, young, but remembering Sennett had expected me to be much older, I added a small moustache, which I reasoned would add age without hiding my expression. And it says here that his boots, Chaplin actual size feet, he was size 5, so he's quite a small guy. And then for the shoes was size 14, which I didn't actually know that before. So they do look absolutely enormous in his tramp character, which actually makes it all the more amusing and very funny. And then just moving on a little bit from that, so you have a connection here with Laurel and Hardy, which I didn't know too much about before. You have a film which is called The Knockout, which got here May 29th, 1914, or released June 11th, 1914. And it's actually a small part where Chaplin, he plays, he appears briefly in the second reel as a referee in a boxing ring. And you've got Edgar Kennedy, which is also, you can just see him there, a young Edgar Kennedy, Charlie Chaplin there. And that's Arbuckle there. He plays a boxer, and he's also the player in the Laurel and Hardy films. So that was really interesting to see that, and to see earlier footage of him. But also Chaplin used a lot of boxing scenes in his films, like in The Champion and in City Lights, because he enjoyed going to, as it says here, prize fights. And he enjoyed watching boxing matches in Los Angeles in the 1930s. So he incorporated that comedy into his films. So that was interesting. And then there was also this film that has a connection to Laurel and Hardy's The Music Box, which is called His Musical Career, which is this one here, and then this picture at the top here, with the donkey up on 2 legs on the horse and cart. If I can just read a little bit, it says here, musical career, released November 7th, 1914. Charlie is hired an assistant piano mover, instructed to deliver a piano to 666 Prospect Street and to repossess one from 999 Prospect Street. The piano mover, Max Swain, and his new helper set off on their donkey cart and muddle their assignment by doing the opposite. The film concludes with the slide of the piano down a steep road and sinking into a nearby lake. Now that sounds pretty familiar, as also another comedy player that was in Sons of the Desert, Charlie Chase, which is also known for Charles Parrott, played owner of the piano store, one of many small parts Parrott played in Chaplin's Keystone comedies, before achieving great fame as a comedian as Charlie Chase. Pioneering comedy producer Hal Roach. Another notable Roach connection is that Chaplin's comedy served as a predecessor, if not the prototype, to Laurel and Hardy 3-reel comedy The Music Box, 1932. So that's really interesting. Produced by Hal Roach and directed by James Parrott, younger brother of Charles, which must be Charlie Chase, which won First Academy Award for Best Short Subject Comedy. And so there it is. That's the Charlie Chaplin short there. So just to round off this video for the Music Box, you have this little figure I've got. I don't know a great deal about it, but I came across this a few years ago. But really nice little piece of Laurel and Hardy carrying or trying to push or carry the music box up the steps. Really, really nice. Which is also a location that I've been to a few years ago, and stood at the bottom of the music box steps in Los Angeles. So that's everything for this video. So a bit of history on Charlie Chaplin, a bit more connection on Laurel and Hardy, or connected to the early Chaplin films. So I hope you enjoyed this one, and look out for the next one soon. Okay, bye.